We will be starting in a few minutes. We're just going to give a few minutes for some of the other participants that registered to join the meeting. Thank you. Okay, good morning. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to get started. This is the first technical assistance session we're delivering as a result of the release of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship 2022 NOFO last week, and there will be a total of 4 sessions that will be delivered. I encourage you to go to our landing page. We will be providing the link in a few minutes and register for the other webinars that will be delivered. The next one in the sequence is the Bidders Conference that it will take place next Tuesday morning. The third one is the GATA pre-qualification webinar that will take place next Thursday morning. And then the last one is a webinar related to developing partnerships, which are key for this programming next September the 8th in the morning. So I encourage you to go to our landing page, register, and be part of those webinars. Thanks again for joining us. Welcome to this webinar, which is Introduction to Illinois Works and its Programs. Thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule to join us today. Over the next 3 hours, we will have an opportunity to learn about Illinois Works and the programs this new DCO office oversees. The target audience for this particular program, I want to make sure that you are in the right place, are individuals accountable for identifying and or completing applications for funding opportunities. In this instance, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO. Job titles that may be applicable here are program administrators, grant writers, fund developers, program managers, program coordinators. I'm Norman Ruano, and I'm the Deputy Director of Illinois Works at DCEO. I've had an opportunity now for over 20 years to work in designing, developing, implementing workforce development programs throughout the state of Illinois, particularly focused on serving underrepresented populations, women, minorities, particularly. I've also done for about 15 years programming in the construction industry. So it's a pleasure to be here at DCO now, overseeing the Office of Illinois Works. With me today is Dr. Gia Suggs from Northern Illinois University. Gia, if you could please say hi to our audience today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Gia Suggs, and welcome. We're really glad to have you here.
Thank you, Gia. Also with me today is Christine Flynn from the Office of Illinois Works. She is one of our grant managers. Christine, if you could please go ahead and say hi to our audience today.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy to be here.
Great, thank you, Gia and Christine. Both of them are working with me today in delivering this webinar, in charge of our chat and making sure that we troubleshoot any technological issues that we face. The course that we have on hand today is specifically dealing with the Office of Illinois Works, which is a new office within DCO. We're going to talk about the scope of the programming that we do, where we are with the programming, how all the programs fit together, and how in particular the pre-apprenticeship program and the NOFO fit within the larger context of Illinois Works. Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan, which is called Rebuild Illinois, and his commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. This exciting new initiative creates opportunities for Illinois businesses, communities, and families. During this course, you will be provided with an overview of Illinois Works, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, which was the law that was passed to create the Office of Illinois Works and its programs, and the Illinois Works 3 key programs that we are implementing. In terms of the objectives for our course today, by the end of this training, you'll be able to articulate the mission of DCEO, describe the relationship between DCEO and Illinois Works, describe the 3 key programs implemented as a result of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, and more importantly, also review the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Notice of Funding Opportunity that was recently released. I want to emphasize that today we're going to go over, we're going to do a small review of the NOFO, but we are going to go in depth piece by piece of the NOFO and answer any questions you may have about the NOFO in the next webinar that is being delivered on Tuesday, which is the Bidders Conference. Please notice that this session is being recorded and will be made available for review in the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO landing page. Some of you have already maybe visited our landing page. We will be including right now in the chat the link to the landing page. At the bottom of the landing page, there's a section called Information Sessions. Once we deliver a particular session, you'll be able to access the recording for that session there in the line where that session is listed. We will replace the link to register with the link to download a recording once the session has been delivered. And please notice that it takes anywhere between 3 to 5 business days for us to be able to upload the recording into that website. So you can see now in the chat the link to that particular landing page where all the NOFO information is located. Any questions or comments related to what I just covered. If you do have any questions or comments, please unmute yourself or please key in your question or comments in the chat and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Moving on to the next section, we want to make sure that we have full capabilities here when it comes to interaction. In this section 2, we'll be covering the use of WebEx pictures. I don't know if you've used WebEx before. WebEx is a very particular platform used by the state of Illinois. So we'll cover the features and functions of this particular platform to make sure you can engage. At the same time, we'll identify what you hope to learn from this training today. In terms of the WebEx tutorial, there are certain features in this system that you should be aware of. There's obviously the mute and unmute feature. You can see at the bottom of the screen right now it's showing with a red arrow at the bottom of your screen. There's also a stop and start video, and this is particularly for your own camera if you wanted to turn it on or turn it off. There's also the feature to raise your hand. So if you want to practice some of these features, you can certainly go ahead and do so. There's also a set of emojis that you can use as we deliver the presentation if you choose to use some of the emojis. There's obviously the chat feature that I just mentioned for you to please include your questions and any comments that you may have. And then there's also group features that this platform includes. We are not going to be using the group features in this particular webinar, but we will in other webinars. To help facilitate the best experience today, please, we ask that you keep your line muted to help manage potential interruptions during the training. The line can be unmuted during question and answer sessions or group discussions. We will let you know at a particular moment in time when you are able to unmute your line. You can certainly ask questions or make any comments throughout the course, and one of our colleagues will be making those, bringing those to my attention so that we can answer them. We will try to respond as much as possible to all your comments and questions within the allotted time that we have today. If for whatever reason you have any questions, comments that we're not able to get to, or you have other questions or comments once the webinar has been completed, you can certainly email us at the address that we are providing on your screen right now, ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov, and we'll be more than happy to address your questions and comments as soon as possible. I think we have a question, Christine, in the chat.
I do not see a question in the chat, Norman.
Let me see. Well, Nora asked if we will be, if they'll be able to get a copy of the PowerPoint. They would like to get a copy. I think she sent it to me only, not publicly. So Nora, yes, we will email to all the participants today a copy of the slide deck once training has been completed today. So we'll be more than happy to make that available. Thank you. Okay, great. So let's do some introductions using the chat feature of our platform today. If you could please tell us your name, the organization you represent, the role that you play in that organization, and the location where you're located throughout the state of Illinois. Again, your name, organization you represent today, the role that you play in that organization, and your geographic location within the state. If you could please enter that information in the chat, I would appreciate it. We have Kathleen today with us today. We also have Crystal Young. We have Ken Stoner today with us. Thanks for joining us. Susan from Peoria Public Schools joining us. Thanks for joining us, Susan. We also have Derek Baker, Parkland College. Thanks for joining us, Derek. Champaign, Illinois. We also have Kathy from Heartland Community College in Normal, Illinois. Thanks for joining us. We also have Michelle from Governor State University joining us today. South suburb of Chicago. We have Lily from Parkland College, also in Champaign, Illinois. We have Marcia from from Community Action Partnership of Lake County. Thanks for joining us, Marcia. Sarah, Workforce Development Board of Rock Island. Thanks for joining us today. Myra from 3M Logistics Corporation. Dave from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign joining us today. Thank you. Mark from American Job Center. Thanks for joining us, Rock Island. Nancy from Rock Valley College in Rockford, Illinois. Thanks again for joining us. Kim from Sauk Valley Community College, Dixon, Illinois. Thanks for joining us today. Tina Bell. Arnie from Peoria Public Schools. Yeah, Bibi from One Stop Beauty School and board member of Olivia Notice Scholarship. Thanks for joining us. Sarah from Proviso Partners for Health. Tanya from Awaken Foundation in Rockford, Illinois. Kathy, Winnebago counties in Northern Illinois. Julia from Awaken Foundation also. Marquetta from Goins to be a Bridge. Roxanne from Westside Forward. Glenn from GMP Labs, West Garfield, Chicago. Gabriela from Midwest Business Consulting in Bedford Park, Illinois. Mary Lou from St. Augustine College. Julie from Blackhawk Community College. Crystal, Illinois West Central Region. Impact Global, thanks for joining us. Mary from IMEC in Rockford. Chris from LWIB 3, the Workforce Connection from Winnebago County. So thank you very much for joining us. We obviously have a very diverse group of people, not only in terms of backgrounds, but geographically. We hope to be able to answer some questions for you today and provide some valuable information. In order to do some interaction today, we're going to be using a tool called Mentimeter. If you could please go online and log on to Mentimeter. It's you go to www.menti.com and enter the code that is being shown right now in the chat. The code on the screen is not operational, so the code that needs to be used is 79190659. Again, 79190659. That's the code that you would use. And again, just go to www.menti.com. And this is the system that we're going to be using for interactivity to ask some questions and do some activities together. I'm going to give you a minute to be able to do that. Let us know if you have any challenges joining Menti. So this system would allow us to fully participate during the training, as well as provide us with feedback later on at the end of training. So assuming that you have already had the opportunity to join Mentimeter, we're going to start using Mentimeter and answer the question on the screen. And the question is, what do you hope to learn today? If you could please go to Mentimeter and answer that question. What do you hope to learn today? Why is it that you joined today? What specifically are you looking to learn today? The application requirements for the workforce program, and if it would be a viable option for your organization, we will certainly talk about. As I mentioned, we'll review some of the NOFO information. We're particularly focusing today on what Illinois Works is and the different programs that we operate. We'll put a special emphasis on the pre-apprenticeship program, which is where the NOFO fits. Requirements of the program and who's most applicable to apply, what types of projects will be funded, and parameters. We will certainly discuss some of that information today. I recommend that you join the bidders conference on Tuesday to get more in-depth information about it. General overview of purpose of project structure of grant. We will certainly cover that today. More information on the workforce. We will discuss that today also. I would like to learn the best organizations to contact for Illinois Works are. We will certainly discuss some of that information, who our present grantees are, delivering services right now. Parameters of the program, we will discuss that. How our organization can bring this program into Maywood, Illinois. Certainly, this is part of what we will discuss today. Some of the areas, some of the geographic areas that we're targeting. We would like to learn about the opportunity and how to connect these opportunities to our disadvantaged students. Certainly, that's part of what we're discussing today. What we need to do in order to complete the grant paperwork properly to be considered. I currently work with Construction Now. So we will, as I mentioned, do a general overview of the NOFO and some of the requirements for application. More in-depth information will be provided on Tuesday, which is the bidders conference, specifically designed to answer questions related to the NOFO in the program. What are the program parameters of pre-apprenticeship program? We will certainly discuss that today. I have joined the webinar today for the purpose of learning more, becoming familiar with the program requirements, learning who are the contact people, learning about the goals of Illinois Works. We certainly will be covering all of that today. Getting an overview of the pre-apprenticeship NOFO, certainly that will be covered today. Thank you very much for participating. We appreciate all the questions. We will definitely cover the majority of this today. But if you do want more information, more in-depth information, please definitely register and join our webinar that will take place next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Called the Bidders Conference. You can go to the NOFO landing page, and at the bottom under information sessions, you'll be able to register for that particular webinar. So moving on to our next section, we're going to start talking about Illinois Works. Specifically, in terms of the objectives for this section. By the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the role of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan in the creation of Illinois Works, explain the role of the Illinois General Assembly regarding Illinois Works, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, describe the unique characteristics of the Illinois Works Innovative Workforce Development Model. Next slide, please. Articulate the mission of DCEO. Describe the relationship between DCEO and Illinois Works, and list the Illinois Works 3 key programs, and at the same time identify the Illinois Works goals. So it's very important to emphasize that Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan, which is called Rebuild Illinois, and his commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. Rebuild Illinois is an investment, it's a very large investment in the infrastructure of the state, roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, colleges, you name it. This investment has started already, and it will last for the next few years. As a result of that initiative, the Office of Illinois Works was created. This is a top priority of the governor's 5-year economic plan. With the new capital funding set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs over the next decade, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally, and I want to emphasize, was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity and capital construction jobs. Illinois Works is designed to bring about equity in the construction industry. We'll discuss the statistics in a few minutes, but it's important to emphasize that that's the reason for that. And it was a result of the passing of the Rebuild Illinois program that will invest billions of dollars in the state's infrastructure. The intention is to reinvigorate the workforce of Illinois for the future and ensure that that workforce represents the various demographic populations of the state of Illinois. If you want a copy of the Illinois Economic Plan Executive Summary and the full report, you can certainly go to our website. You can see the link on the slide right now. We will also provide the link in the chat so that you can access it. But to get to it, you can go to www.illinois.gov/DCEO. And in the search box, you can enter Illinois Economic Plan, and you will find an option there called Econ Plan 2019. That would allow you an opportunity to read the plan, the Illinois Economic Plan, and have an in-depth understanding of all of these initiatives. At the same time, we will provide on your screen right now the ability for you to download it. You could just click on the PDF when the screen pops up, and you could download it on your screen in a minute, so that you can have a copy of it. So I'll give it a minute for the screen to show up and for you to be able to download the document. The pop-up screen is already there. You can just click on the document on your screen and download it. Save it to your desktop or wherever you want to save it, so that you have a copy of the economic plan. Just giving it a minute for people to download the plan. Okay, moving on to the next slide. What's important about Illinois Works is that it's an innovative workforce development model. And it's innovative for a variety of reasons. But in general, what we can say is that this unique and innovative model has three key components. One, it has a program that creates demand in jobs. So we have a job demand component and program that we'll discuss in a minute. The second key part of this system is a talent pipeline. And the third part of the system is an incentive to hire and retain people that we train and graduate. So the three pieces work together to bring about equity, to bring about structural change to the construction industry: job demand, talent pipeline, and an incentive to hire and retain. Typically, workforce development models have one, maybe two of these components, but Illinois Works has the three components with the objective to create a comprehensive response at all levels of the workforce. Illinois Works is in a one-of-a-kind initiative and is really in a unique position to make a huge difference in the construction industry in the state of Illinois for years to come. One of the key questions for those of us that have worked in workforce development for a long time, one of the key questions that always emerges is, what has the potential to make a workforce development initiative such as Illinois Works vulnerable? And typically the response is funding and the sustainability of funding. With Illinois Works, however, this issue is addressed because this is a sustainable funding mechanism. And Illinois Works is here to stay because this is an initiative designed to bring about structural change. It's an initiative that will be here for a long time. It's not only sustainable, but it's also a good funding mechanism in the sense that it pays very well. Illinois Works, outside of Illinois Works, there are very few funding mechanisms in the state that pay as much as Illinois Works pays. We pay on average $10,000 per participant. So if you do apply, if you do get a grant, and let's say you decide to serve 25 individuals per year, our funding level could be up to $250,000. If you do decide to apply and propose to serve 50 individuals per year, our funding level could be up to $500,000 per year. So it's not only sustainable, but it's also a very generous funding mechanism. we are again in a position to do something unique, innovative, and highly impactful in the state of Illinois. Let us take a deeper look at the relationship between the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the Office of Illinois Works, and the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act. So to access DCEO, you can certainly go to our website to get more information, www.illinois.gov/DCEO. Just click About Us, and you'll be able to see the screen show up with information about DCEO and the various bureaus within the agency. The mission of DCEO, which is the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, is to support and maintain a climate that enables a strong economy for their customers, taxpayers, businesses, workers, and communities. By keeping, attracting, and growing businesses, maintaining a skilled workforce, and enhancing communities so that the climate here is one in which businesses, small and large, and their workers can succeed to the greatest extent possible. So DCO delivers impactful and efficient programs and services. In Mentimeter, if you could please now go to Mentimeter, do some interactivity here with our audience. What does the DCO, again, what does the DCO serve? What are the customers of DCO? Who do we serve based on the mission that we just described right now? So who does DCO serve? If you please go to Mentimeter and answer that question, we would appreciate it. Any responses, G? I don't see any responses in Mentimeter.
Yep, they're showing up now.
Economic development, municipalities, employees, employers. We certainly serve employees, employers. We serve communities, all citizens of Illinois. We certainly focus on serving all citizens of Illinois, the residents of the state. Municipalities, we certainly serve communities. We also, it says the business community, the disadvantaged. We certainly serve the disadvantaged, want to make sure that they have an equitable opportunity. Women, we certainly serve women. Illinois Works is very focused also on ensuring that women have opportunities in the construction industry. Great responses. I appreciate you participating. We partner with all kinds of organizations that you have mentioned here, nonprofits, colleges, school districts, municipalities, a variety of organizations out there in order to serve our clients. Our clients are taxpayers, businesses, workers, communities. That's the extent of our clients, which means that we have a very large and comprehensive reach out there in Illinois communities. So it's always a pleasure working with all of these populations. Going back to our website, if you want to get more information about Illinois Works, when you go to our website and find About Us, just click About Us, you'll be able to see one of the bureaus within DCO is Illinois Works. You can certainly click there, and once you click there, it will take you to the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act webpage. And there, you'll be able to see a variety of different options. As I mentioned, Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate our workforce for the future. On the right of the website, there's a link for each of the programs that we're implementing, as well as an option called Contact Us, which will provide you with the Illinois Works email address. At the bottom of the page, there's a virtual assistant that's available. It's similar to a help function. You can click on it and search for relevant information. So the Office of Illinois Works, because of what I mentioned before, the commitment of Governor Pritzker to expanding equity in Illinois construction workforce, the data shows that for too long, the construction industry and the trades have not been equitably accessible to diverse communities. In fact, Fewer than 10% of the best paid apprenticeships are extended to women and minorities in the state of Illinois. As a result, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity in capital construction projects. The passing of this act led to the creation of the Office of Illinois Works within DCEO, a new bureau tasked with the responsibility of implementing the Illinois Works key programs. We will, in the rest of the session today, talk about those key programs, but that's the Office of Illinois Works within DCEO. It's new and is tasked with implementing these Illinois Works key programs. The Illinois Works General Assembly, as you know, it's our it's composed of the House of Representatives and the Illinois Senate, passed Bill 30 ILCS 559, which is the Illinois Work Jobs Program Act on June 28, 2019. Through the Illinois Work Jobs Program Act, the Illinois General Assembly not only created the Illinois Works system, but at the same time appropriated funds for the pre-apprenticeship program. The pre-apprenticeship program is the program within the Office of Illinois Works that grants funds to organizations throughout the state of Illinois, and we will discuss that in a few minutes. So the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers in construction and the trades. The goal is to provide contracting and employment opportunities to historically underrepresented populations in the construction industry. You can access the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act from the General Assembly, Illinois General Assembly website. We will be providing the link on the chat so that you can get it like that. We will also give you an opportunity in a minute to download it from your screen. Download a PDF version of the act on your screen. When the pop-up comes up on your screen, you'll be able to download it. So we'll give you a minute to do that. If you do want a copy of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, you can download it now by clicking on it and then saving it into your desktop if you wish to. As I mentioned before, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act created the Office of Illinois Works, which has the responsibility of implementing three key programs to bring about equity and inclusion to the construction industry. Those three key programs are the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which is where the NOFO that we release is related to this particular program, and then also the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. We will review each of these programs in detail in a minute. I wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to take a look at some of the rules that are operating some of these programs. The first program that has been implemented by the Office of Illinois Works is the Apprenticeship Initiative, and there are emergency rules that have been filed and that are being used to operate that program. On your screen now, you have an opportunity to download those rules. If you want a copy of those rules, a PDF copy of it, there's a pop-up screen that has come up on your screen, and you'll be able to download them now. Yeah, unfortunately, we do not see the rules and the file transfer.
Okay. Here, let's see. Can you see it now?
No, I see the file transfer, but no rules on the file transfer.
Okay, let me re-download it.
Okay, here it is. We can see the rules now. Someone in the chat said, "Can you give us a link?" We are actually allowing you now through the file transfer on your screen to download the rules for that particular program if you want to take a look at those rules. It's just giving you a minute here to download those rules. Great. Moving on to the Illinois Works goals. So through those three programs that I mentioned, so the ACT instituted the Office of Illinois Works. The Office of Illinois Works is responsible for implementing those three programs. Uh, so those three programs have very particular goals. So if we achieve our Illinois Works goals, we will have successfully partnered with community stakeholders to provide a career pathway for residents in disadvantaged communities, provide eligible apprentices with the skills for a lifelong job uh, security, promote construction as a viable industry for women and minority communities, provide the construction industry with a consistent skilled workforce for generations to come, and create new partnerships between state agencies and community organizations. These are the key overarching goals of Illinois Works as we move forward in implementing all these programs. So someone mentioned in the chat that they were not able to download the rules. Can you provide a link? Uh, we will send you the rules when we email the PowerPoint slide deck. So you will have those rules once we send the slide deck. So now using Mentimeter, if you could please go back to Mentimeter. If you could please answer the question on your screen. If Illinois Works is successful in achieving its goals, what impact will it have on Illinois communities? If Illinois Works is successful in achieving its goals, what impact will it have on Illinois communities? We appreciate your engagement and your response. Certainly, we certainly will have steady employment for minorities. We'll have inclusivity, more importantly, employment. That's very important for the well-being of our communities. Steady stream of skilled workers in the construction trades for years to come. This is very important. We want to make sure that the construction industry remains viable, and we need to have a steady supply of labor for that industry. Training, certainly, Illinois Works is the pre-apprenticeship program is focused on training. Stronger diversification and equitable workforce, that is very important. We need to make sure that we bring equity to these industries, particularly because there's a significant amount of tax money being invested in capital projects. Stronger unions, we will certainly have stronger labor. We will have the ability for our residents to have access to these DOL registered apprenticeship programs and the benefits that they pay. More jobs filled, that's for sure. More disadvantaged populations trained. That is certainly one of the key focuses of Illinois Works. Expand employment opportunities for underserved communities. That is for sure. Collaboration is fundamental. We are doing this in partnership with labor, in partnership with community colleges, in partnership with community-based organizations, with school districts, with um, 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 workforce innovation boards. A variety of different partners are working with us to make this happen. Um, Employment with sustainable wages, that is a key element of this. The construction industry has and pays good wages with good benefits, so it's very important. So as you can see, you certainly can see how the goals of Illinois Works are overarching. They impact communities, they impact people throughout the whole state. And it's so important that we do this right to ensure that the investments that the state is making really benefit those communities the way it should. Before we move on to discuss other things related to Illinois Works, I want to emphasize that Illinois Works, particularly the pre-apprenticeship program, is a semi-structured model with minimum program standards and outcomes, which are outlined in the grantee manual. If you are planning or are interested in applying to be part of our network, to get funding to be part of our network, I encourage you to read through the 2022 grantee manual. The grantee manual provides all the guidance, tools, expectations, requirements for program providers. I encourage you to read it, to really go through it and understand what Illinois Works is all about. We are not going to be able to bring about change to the construction industry unless we do things in a high quality oriented way, unless we do things focused on outcomes. And the grantee manual definitely has all of that information. We are providing the link for you now in the chat so that you can access the 2022 grantee manual. You should know that there's also a 2023 grantee manual that is currently under development and will be made available to all grantees that receive funding and that start the funding cycle January 1st, 2023. So it will be just a revised version of the 2022 grantee manual. So there will be a 2023 grantee manual, but please, if you do want to know what Illinois Works is all about and how we implement our peer prevention programs, please don't hesitate to go to that link and read through that document. Any questions about this grantee manual? Otherwise, we're going to do a practice round here using Mentimeter again. So if you could please go to Mentimeter, and we're going to do a variety of questions here. You could join a quiz. It's going to be a true or false question, series of questions that you'll answer. You'll have an opportunity to submit your name if you want, or the system will assign a character to you that you can use. Make sure you remember your character to see how you're doing in comparison to everybody else. So again, the questions are true or false. Once the question appears on the screen, you have a few seconds to consider the question. Then the option will appear. You will have 10 seconds to enter your response. Excuse me. For select questions, you will earn points for answering the questions quickly and answering the questions accurately. If you're among the top scorers, your character will appear on the leaderboard. So let's get going with some of these questions. Question number 1. Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's commitment to expanding equity in Illinois construction workforce. Is that true or false? Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. True or false?
Norman, it looks like the
You could-
system skipped number 1. We're on number 2.
Okay, we're now going to number 3. You can access the Illinois Economic Plan from DCO from the DCO website. True or false? As you can see, we have quite a bit of competition going on right now. Ashley is winning the contest with 990 points. Question number 3, you can access the Illinois Economic Plan from the DCO website. True or false? 8 seconds to respond. Twenty-four responses says true. That is a correct statement. You can certainly access the Illinois Economic Plan from the DCO website. Let's see, Ashley was winning the competition, still winning the competition. Oh, now we have Kathleen at 1912 points. So it's getting very competitive here. Question number 4, the DCO mission is to support the agenda of the local government. Is that true or false? The DCO's mission is to support the agenda of the local government. Is that true or false? 2 seconds. Time's up. False. That is correct. The majority of you got it right. Our mission is to support and maintain a climate that enables a strong economy for our customers, which are taxpayers, businesses, workers, and communities. Let's see who's winning the competition now. Michelle is ahead. Question number 5. Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate our workforce for the future. Is that true or false? Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate our workforce for the future. True or false? 6 seconds to respond. By the way, just as a disclaimer, there are no Illinois Works staff members doing this right now, participating. Okay, so we just to make sure that we're clear, it's all you that are participating in this. That is true. That is correct. It's a correct statement. The Illinois Works is an innovative model to reinvigorate our workforce for the future. Who's ahead in the competition now? Michelle was ahead in the last round. We still have Michelle ahead. Montana is number 2. Diana is number 3. So we have a very competitive group of participants. Question number 6. The Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to take advantage of thousands of capital construction jobs in Illinois. Is that true or false? The Illinois Works Jobs Program Act was intentionally designed to take advantage of the thousands of capital construction projects or jobs in Illinois. True or false? 22 of you said true. That is correct. That is Illinois Works resulted from the $45 billion investment in capital projects in the state of Illinois. That is correct. Who's ahead now in the competition? Montana now takes number 1. Michelle now is number 2. Diana continues to be number 3. Derek number 4. Ashley 5. Millie 6. Dave 7. Dragon Knight is 8. Stingalicious is 9. And then we have Carl number 10. So this is a very tough competition here. Next question. The Illinois Works Jobs Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers. Again, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers. True or false? That is a true statement. So that is correct. So again, great engagement here. Who do we have as number 1? We have Montana as number 1. Who's number 1 now? Montana continues to be number 1. Diana jumped to number 2 now. Derek is number 3, and Ashley has gone to number 4. Michelle is number 5. So let's keep it up. Next question. About 25% of apprenticeships go to women and minorities in the construction industry and the trades. Is that a true or a false statement? About 25% of apprenticeships go to women and minorities in the construction industry and the trades. True or false statement? You have 3 seconds to respond. That is definitely a false statement. Most of you got it right. Only about 10% of apprenticeships go to women and minorities, particularly those that are highest paid. Let's see who's winning the competition now. Montana continues to lead. Now Ashley has jumped to number 2. Derek number 3. Michelle 4. Millie number 5. Last question of this sequence. On average, construction and trade jobs pay $32 per hour to those that successfully graduate and achieve journey worker status. On average, construction and trade jobs pay $32 per hour to those that successfully graduate and achieve journey worker status. True or false? 1 second to respond. Time's up. 20 of you said true. That is a correct statement. $32 an hour is the average wage of those individuals in the trades that achieve journey worker status. Let's see who won this particular competition. Montana was leading. Ashley has won this sequence. Michelle, number 2, Derek 3, Millie 4, Dave 5. So you can see there, all of you that participated, thank you very much for participating. Any questions before I move on to the next section? Christine, any questions in the chat?
We have no questions in the chat.
Yeah, great job. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for participating. You certainly are paying attention. Moving on to our next section, which is construction in the building trades data. This is the reason why Illinois Works came about. We're going to cover that in this section. At the end of this section, you'll be able to identify overarching disparities with respect to women and minorities in the building trades, in the building and construction trades. You'll also be able to identify disparities in compensation in the building and construction trades, identify group-specific data per trade, explain the economic impact of increased equity, and list the 3 key Illinois Works programs. So you may ask why go through the whole dynamic of implementing a whole bureau and new programs within DCEO. During this section, we will review the data relevant to the Illinois construction and building trades. Unfortunately, data shows that for too long, the construction industry and the trades have not been accessible for diverse communities. With fewer, this is a very important statistic, fewer than 10% of the best paid apprenticeships extended to women and minorities in the state of Illinois. An expansion of apprenticeship opportunities will not only help boost employment and wages for more Illinois residents, but will also yield significant benefits for our economy since at large, since the construction sector is projected to grow 12% in the next 10 years. Some of the key data that we're using is IDOL data, which is the Illinois Department of Labor data, and also RAPIDS data, which is DOL, US DOL data. This is the database that US DOL uses to track apprenticeship programs throughout the whole country. The graph specifically shows the percent apprentices employed in the state's construction industry by group. As you can see in this graph, and it's very important to emphasize, women represent 51% of the state's population, but they are only 5% of all construction apprentices in the state of Illinois. There's a huge disparity there when it comes to women. African Americans represent almost 14% of the population in the state, and they represent only 9% of all apprentices in the state of Illinois. Hispanics represent about 19% of the population in the U.S. and in the state 18%, but are 17% of the trades. Hispanics are actually the minority group that is more evenly represented than all of the other groups, and there are very particular reasons of why that is. One of them being the fact that Hispanic Americans own a very large number of construction companies in the state of Illinois and throughout the whole country, and as a result, there's higher representation from their ownership in those companies. American Indians and Native Alaskans represent 1% of all apprentices, 0.6% of the state's population. Asian Americans represent 3% of the state's population, but only 0.7% of all apprentices in the state of Illinois. Veterans represent 6% of the population in the state and 7% of all apprentices. As you can see, there are certain groups that are seriously underrepresented in the construction industry, including women, African Americans, and Asian Americans. Those are some of the key groups that are seriously underrepresented. Let us take a deeper dive into some of this data so that we can see some of the numbers from a different perspective. According to the Economic Modeling Specialists International, also known as EMSI estimates, in 2021, there were a total of 221,467 people employed in the construction industry in Illinois. Of all of those employees in the construction industry, women accounted for only 3.3% of that amount. That is roughly 7,300 women. This is actually a bit down from the 2019 numbers from Department of Labor. To exacerbate the disparity, women are more likely to be in the lower paying trades. This is a even more important point. So women are already underrepresented in construction, but the ones that are in construction tend to be concentrated in trades that pay the lowest. For instance, women have an overrepresentation based on their numbers in construction laborers. The laborers on average pay $22.66. There also are overrepresented in painters, construction, and maintenance. They pay $22 or $22.02 on average in comparison to the other trades. As you can see, operating engineers, very low percentage of women, they pay very high. Plumbers, pipe fitters, steam fitters pay very high at $43 an hour, but there's a very small number of women in those trades. So not only are women underrepresented in construction, in the trades that they are represented, they typically work in the lowest paid trades in the construction industry. Um, compensation for high and paying trades, it's almost double those of the lower paying trades attract more women. So as I mentioned, electricians, carpenters, um, plumbers, they pay the highest wage, and that's all the wages of the trades that women present represented in. According to the U.S. Department of Labor data, the RAPIDS data as of June 30, 13,548 registered apprentices in the state of Illinois. The highest representation of this group is white men at 80%, followed by Hispanic males. To clarify, Hispanics can be of any race in this data set. Blacks and women had the lowest representation of any group based on the statistics. But let's look at some of the trades. As of June 30, 2021, the carpenters, there were 2,339 apprentices in the trade, of which 81.4% were white males, followed by Hispanic males at 26.1%. You can see there's a huge disparity in this trade for females, blacks, and other races. Electricians, which is one of the highest trades in the state of Illinois, actually one of the highest paid trades in the country. Of the 2,415 active apprentices for electricians, females, blacks, and other races represented less than 16%. As a relevant note, it's very important to note that electricians pay on average almost $40 per hour. Plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters. Plumbers earn the highest wage of the trades. Females, blacks, and other races represent less than 13% of all plumbers. Construction laborers. For construction laborers, females have a higher representation comparatively at 8.6%. This trade is the one that pays one of the lowest wages in construction in the trades at $22 per hour. As this data clearly shows, the construction industry and the trades have not been accessible to diverse communities, with women and blacks being the most underrepresented, including Asian Americans. With this new capital funding set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs over the next decade, the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, as I mentioned earlier, was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunities in capital construction projects for all Illinois residents. Why is it so important that the state is making these investments at this time? On average, jobs in construction and the building trades pay $18 per hour to apprentices enrolled in DOL registered apprenticeship programs and $32 per hour to those that successfully graduate and achieve journey worker status. In fact, investments in job training in the construction industry also result in significant, again, I want to emphasize significant long-term economic impact for the state, totaling approximately $1.2 billion. In fact, for every dollar invested in construction job training, Illinois obtains $11 in social and economic returns. As a result, Illinois Works is focused on achieving outcomes for all Illinois residents and for communities throughout the state of Illinois. And again, how are we planning to bring about this equity into the construction industry, and how is the the law designed to do that. This data demonstrates that the urgent need for statewide programs that have the potential to reduce bring about system level changes. The DCO Office of Illinois Works is excited to be instrumental in this critical work by delivering 3 key programs: the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, and the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. In the next 3 sections of this webinar, we will have an opportunity to review each of these programs in more detail. Any questions or comments before we move on to the next section to start talking about these programs?
We do have a question in the chat, Norman. The question is this grant program only for the construction industry?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Yes, this grant program is only for the construction industry. The Office of Illinois Works is exclusively focused on the construction industry and the trades. There are other grant systems within DCO that focus on other industries. Our partner office, the Office of Employment and Training, led by my colleague Julio Rodriguez, Deputy Julio Rodriguez, is definitely in charge of providing funding to other industries, manufacturing, services, a variety of other industries. But the Office of Illinois Works is exclusively focused on the construction industry and the trades.
And another question is, how much are pre-apprentices paid if apprentices are paid $18 per hour?
Good question. So pre-apprentice is different. The status of a pre-apprentice is very different than the status of an apprentice. A pre-apprentice is an individual that is in a preparatory program, like our programs, typically lasting 3 to 6 months, preparing academically to go into an apprenticeship program. An apprenticeship program is a work-based program. So when you are accepted into a DOL apprenticeship program, you are actually working while you're learning. The pre-apprenticeship program is not of that nature. What individuals in a pre-apprenticeship program get is that they do get a stipend to participate in the pre-apprenticeship program, but they are not technically working in the construction industry. They're preparing to enter an apprenticeship program so that they can start working in the construction industry. I hope I answered your question. Can you direct me to the program for other industries? If you could please go to our website, our DCO website, and under About Us, look for the Office of Employment and Training. When you click, we just provided the link in the chat for our website. When you go there, look for the About Us tab, and then once you go there, look for the Office of Employment and Training. They are the ones that provide funding for other programs. Okay, moving on to our next section. We're going to start talking now about the 3 key programs that we're implementing, and it's very important that we understand how they work together, because this is not just a pre-apprenticeship program. These are 3 programs that work together to bring about change, like 3 pieces in a puzzle. So this section specifically deals with the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, which is the first program that was implemented by the Office of Illinois Works. By the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, explain how the Apprenticeship Initiative contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, also summarize the Apprenticeship Initiative's key components, and more importantly, identify the current implementation status of the Apprenticeship Initiative. So let's start with the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. So this program is designed to create demand in the construction industry. It's the first big important piece in the puzzle, creating demand in the industry. And how does that do that? This program opens doors of opportunity into the construction industry and the building trades. How do we do that? It applies to public works projects with an estimated cost of $500,000 or more, including both capital grants, loans, direct capital contracts, and awards. For applicable projects, the goal is for USDOL, Department of Labor certified apprentices to perform either 10% of the actual hours worked on a project for each prevailing wage category, or 10% of the estimated labor hours of each prevailing wage category. What that means is we establish a goal in each of the projects that we are funding at the state level. So there are about 12 to 15 agencies at the state level that provide funding for capital projects. So let's say if it's for a college campus, remodeling a college campus, or for a road, or for a bridge, different state agencies are providing the funding to execute those projects. So by establishing a goal, contractors generally find themselves in need to hire more apprentices, resulting in a higher demand for apprentices. So by us establishing a goal in each of those state-funded projects, then contractors now see a need to hire more apprentices. When they have a need to hire more apprentices, that opens the doors of opportunity for people from the community to take advantage of those opportunities and get employed. That's how this program opens the door of opportunity and creates demand in the construction industry. So what's the current status of this program? So this program is fully operational and is working on the compliance of state agencies. And I want to emphasize, we at the Office of Illinois Works are not the ones that invest the money in these capital projects. It's the state through a variety of agencies that are investing all this money into these projects. We at the Office of Illinois Works watch the compliance of these projects with our office, with the goal of so many hours being done by apprentices. In fact, and unfortunately, we have the incorrect number on the slide. We have right now, we're overseeing the compliance of about 1,600 projects being executed throughout the state of Illinois, worth over $12 billion. So as you can see, it's a massive amount of projects and a massive amount of investment that is being done right now by the state. And we're watching the compliance of those projects to make sure that they're giving opportunity for apprentices. As part of the Illinois Works commitment to continuous quality improvement, in August of 2021, we launched a new system that allows us to transition from a manual quarterly reporting system to a real-time reporting system that utilizes technology. So we implemented a new platform that state agencies have to use in order to report their compliance to us for those projects. So state agencies use this technology to report projects to us so that we know those projects are being executed and where they're being executed. They also have to report progress and compliance to us through that platform. And they also have to do closeout activities in that platform for us. This platform, Smartsheet platform, provides a new electronic process that is intuitive, user-friendly, and allows the expeditious real-time reporting to occur. State agencies can, report projects to us on a, individual basis, or they can report mass amounts of projects to us through this technology. They can also report changes to projects to us if a project has changed in value, or projects end or start date have changed. They can submit all of those changes to us via the Smartsheet platform. In addition, they can report to us the completion of those projects. More importantly, they have access to reports. The state agency can see through a report for that particular agency how their projects are doing when it comes to compliance. And this is real-time information that they have access to. In general, state agencies are responsible are accountable for ensuring that their projects comply with the Illinois Works standards. It's the responsibility of state agencies to follow the steps that have been determined by the Office of Illinois Works, and our office proactively monitors each project to ensure that it complies. When when considering grantees, awardees, loan recipients, state agencies are responsible for determining if the apprenticeship goal might apply to a particular project, ensuring that the grantee and contractor completes the budget supplement, monitoring grantee and contractor compliance with the apprenticeship goals, reviewing waiver or reduction requests, and upon completion of the project or the grant or the contract, collecting certification and submitting them to the Office of Illinois Works to determine if a project complied with Illinois Works. So as you can see, this program is very comprehensive and it's designed for all state agencies to follow a very particular compliance process to ensure that all of the capital projects that are being executed that qualify to comply are actually complying with Illinois Works. And again, if we are successful at this, then that means that there will be more demand for people so that they can enter the construction industry. There'll be job opportunities for people to enter the construction industry. So this is what the apprenticeship initiative is all about. That's the first key program that the Office of Illinois Works has implemented, is operational in watching the compliance of thousands of projects and billions of dollars worth of projects. Any question?
Yes, we have a question in the chat. Why wouldn't the apprenticeship goal apply to a project?
Well, there are different conditions under which the apprenticeship goal wouldn't apply. State law requires that projects that cost $500,000 or more have to comply with Illinois Works. Now, the second reason why a project wouldn't comply with Illinois Works is that if the project is not being funded by the state, then the project is not required to comply. So if a project is being funded strictly with, let's say, local municipal dollars or private dollars, some other funding mechanism, they are not required to comply with Illinois Works. Illinois Works applies only to state-funded projects that are estimated to cost $500,000 or more. Any other questions or comments?
I don't have any others in the chat.
Okay, great. Moving on to the next section of the webinar. This is the one that you are probably most interested in, and that is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. But we got to keep in mind that the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program fits within the big umbrella of Illinois Works. At the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, explain how the Pre-Apprenticeship Program contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, summarize the Pre-Apprenticeship Program's key components, and identify the current implementation status of the Pre-Apprenticeship Program. So we're moving on now to review the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which is where the NOFO, this program is the one that released the NOFO last week. The Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, the one that we just covered, creates demand for jobs. And the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program creates the pipeline of diverse candidates to help respond to that demand. So if we're creating demand, but we're not providing a talent pipeline, that demand is just going to cause a lot of trouble to these contractors because they're not going to be able to fill those job openings. Our intention then with the pre-apprenticeship program is to create the talent pipeline to fill that demand. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program creates a qualified talent pipeline to fill job opportunities with diverse candidates. It launched in 2021 with the release of the NOFO, and on January 1, 2022, the first 23 programs of the Illinois Works Provider Network became operational. So as we speak right now, we have a provider network that has 23 programs located throughout the state of Illinois. This program delivers pre-apprenticeship skills training, and it's very important to emphasize that. It has an educational component that is part of this. A pre-apprenticeship program needs to deliver instruction that lead to nationally recognized certifications. So this program delivers pre-apprenticeship skills training through a network of community-based organizations, including community colleges, faith-based organizations, and business associations, among others. For our grants, we strongly encourage proposals that provide training for underrepresented populations in the trades. Participants of the program attend tuition free, and this is very important. Individuals, community members do not have to pay anything. It's a free program to them. And at the same time, all of our programs are required by law to pay a stipend to the students and to provide to them other supportive services to help address systemic barriers which prevent them from entering the construction industry. So in summary, what the pre-apprenticeship program does is that it provides skills training. You know, sometimes we find that a lot of these populations need a lot of instruction in math, shop math. You know, while they're taking their construction training, they may need to provide a lot of tutoring when it comes to math. Some of them may need a lot of tutoring when it comes to, you know, safety practices. Soft skills are all included in the program. Preference is given by this program, obviously, to underrepresented populations that have historically encountered barriers to entry and advancement in the trades, including minorities, women, and veterans. Again, it's tuition free, and a stipend is provided for those that attend the program. This program is being funded with a generous appropriation from the Illinois General Assembly of $25 million. The first phase of funding, which we did last year, granted almost $10 million. In this phase of funding, we are granting up to $15 million. $8 million will be granted to new grantees that join the network, and about $7 million will be provided as renewals for existing providers. What's the current status of the pre-apprenticeship program? A list of grantees was announced in January of 2022. If you go to our website, the Illinois Works website at DCO, and click on the pre-apprenticeship program, you're going to be able to see there the 23 different programs that we have operational. You can click on each of those links, each of the programs links, and it'll be able to take you. To their landing page. Each program is required to have a landing page with all the information about their program, contact information, what they offer, when they offer it. So you'll be able to see there all the programs that are presently in the network. And as I mentioned, 23 grants were issued last year, totaling $9.6 million in investment. The average award last year was $417,000 per grantee. Our present network providers have capacity to serve approximately 1,030 Illinois residents throughout the majority of the economic development regions in the state of Illinois. Any questions or comments related to this information? Do we have any questions in the chat, Christine?
We do. We have a couple. So the first one is, do you know if the building trades / unions are supportive of this opportunity?
Certainly, the labor was part of the stakeholders that were involved in the negotiations and in the drafting of Illinois Works. We actually work with DOL registered apprenticeship programs run by unions on a daily basis. They work with our providers. They partner with our providers. They are definitely supportive of the effort.
Great. And then the next question we have is, do you have a list of contractors who seek apprentices?
So the way the system works is this happens in kind of two different dimensions. One is we expect for local programs on the ground to have staffing that is specifically focused on developing relationships with contractors with DOL registered apprenticeship programs. So they need to demonstrate that they can and also have relationships with those stakeholders. On the other hand, through one of our programs, through the other program, the Apprenticeship Initiative, a lot of contractors come to us and say, we cannot find apprentices. And we are creating right now a platform. It's an applicant tracking system that would allow our grantees to upload their graduates, their resumes and profiles of their graduates into the applicant tracking system, and then connect them to employers that are looking for apprentices. So yes, we do have at the state level, at the Illinois Works office level, the ability to do that, but it should happen both at the ground by the programs and then also us supporting it with this system that I just described. Any other questions, Christine?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's a question. What is the link for the awardees that will be renewed?
The only link that we have, which is right now in the chat, is for you to be able to see the list of grantees. I think someone May not be muted, Christine. I'm hearing some background noise.
Let me mute myself. It might be from me.
Okay. So in the link that we provided, you can certainly see there the providers that are presently operational. We will not know until September or October who will be renewed because it's based on their performance. And that's what we're going to talk about it in a minute. It's Illinois Works is a performance-based model. So we will not know until September or October which of those programs will be renewed. We do expect for the large majority of the programs to be renewed. We just don't know exactly which ones will be renewed. Now, let me just be very clear. Just because we have a particular provider in a particular location doesn't mean that we wouldn't accept any other providers in that location. It really depends on the number of the underrepresented populations in a particular geography. So if you're located somewhere in Waukegan or Aurora or Rockford, those have large concentrations of underrepresented populations with large concentrations of capital projects. So we would certainly recruit other providers in those areas.
Great. Related to that, we have how many new grantees will be awarded?
I'll get to that in a minute, but we expect with this new NOFO, we expect to fund about 15 to 20, possibly even 25 new grantees that will join the network. Our goal by the end of this year, beginning of next year, is to have a network with 30 to 35 providers that will have capacity to train about 1,500 community members. So it will be a significant number of providers that we are bringing in as a result of this NOFO.
We have one more question, Norman. Will participants earn stipends during the training or after?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the way the system is designed, and I encourage you to go to the 2022 grantee manual, there's a particular section there that talks about the stipend model that we use, but we use a performance-based stipend model. And grantees are supposed to be paid their stipend based on their performance in the program while they're in the program, not after the program, but while they're in the program. Okay, great. So moving on, performance payment model. As I mentioned, it's very, very important that if we're going to bring about change to the construction industry, that we do it in a high quality way, focus on outcomes. As a result, the Illinois Works system is a performance payment model, meaning we reimburse expenses that are directly related to tangible results that the programs produce. So you will get funded a certain dollar amount, and then that dollar amount will be divided into your particular goals. You have goals for enrollment, you have goals for completion, you have goals for transition, and a certain allocation will be made for closeout reporting. So that's how your funding will be divided. Each of the funding benchmark is divided by the program goals, again, for enrollment. So let's say if your program is going to serve 50 individuals, there's a certain dollar amount that will be allocated for enrolling those individuals, a certain dollar amount allocated for successfully completing those individuals, a certain dollar amount for transitioning individuals, and a certain dollar amount for closeout reports. So as you can see, enrollment is weighted in our formula at 25%, completion at 30%, transition at 35%, closeout at 10%. As you can see, the two metrics that carry the most weight in our performance-based model is completion and transition. That's because that's where we get the outcomes for these particular programs. These goals are outlined in each organization's grant agreements and work plans. By dividing the funding benchmark amount by its respective participant goal, the per participant allotment is calculated. Each of these metrics or funding benchmarks represent a specific percentage of the grant award. Completion and transition together represent 65% of the grant award funding, putting the primary focus on program outcomes. So we follow a very strict compliance process. Every month, we will pull the data of the program and review their compliance with Illinois Works, with their metrics, and then issue a compliance report to the program, and they'll know how much money we're releasing for their expenses that particular month based on their metrics. Is there another question, Christine?
Yes, Sarah's asking, so organizations are required to put the money up front for the program. Is that correct?
So that's a good point, and it has been brought up many times in different conversations. For all state grants, not just Illinois Works, all state grants, uh, programs have to have the expense first, and then they get reimbursed for the expense. Now, in our system, we do allow for programs to get an advance. You could go through a process to apply for an advance, and you could get a certain percentage of your grant can be given to you as an advance so that you can use it as working capital. But in general, all state of Illinois programs are work on a reimbursement basis. So something that is very important about Illinois Works is IWRS. The IWRS is the Illinois Works reporting system. So similar to the Apprenticeship Initiative Smart Sheet platform, Illinois Works is committed to leveraging technology for continuous quality improvement. This includes the Illinois Works reporting system. The Office of Illinois Works, in partnership with Southern Illinois University Center for Workforce Development, designed the Illinois Works Reporting System, or IWRS. The system was fully launched in February of 2022. Due to its custom design, Illinois Works allows grantees to track pre-apprenticeship program inquiries, participants, and grantee partnerships. This system also allows programs to track key information about participants' progress throughout their engagement with the program, including their application, their enrollment status, their career and support services assessments, enrollment and training modules, attendance, and training completion and transitions. As of 8/1/2022, this system has tracked over 1,216 engagements with Illinois residents through our Illinois Works grantees. So this is the system that is used by our grantees not only to report all their activities, but also to manage their programs. One key concept that you will find in the grantee manual is the pre-apprentice life cycle, which is being shown right now on the screen. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprentice Program requirements are organized in the pre-apprentice life cycle. The pre-apprentice life cycle outlines the steps that participants take as they move through the pre-apprenticeship program. It tracks participants' progress from the initial program outreach to post-transition follow-up. Each stage demonstrates an integral step in preparing participants to enroll in DOL registered apprenticeship programs. So what's really important here is that Illinois Works is laser focused on preparing people, giving people the skills, the necessary skills, and providing them the services they need so that they can primarily transition to DOL registered apprenticeship programs. That's the ultimate goal of Illinois Works. That's the primary goal of Illinois Works. We do accept secondary goals, but secondary goals such as employment in other industries or transition to other training programs are considered for us secondary goals and not primary goals. Our program is completely focused on ensuring that individuals from underrepresented populations transition to DOL registered apprenticeship programs. What's the current status of this particular program? So as of August 1st, 2022, our system was showing 278 inquiries, meaning individuals that are interested in joining the system. We also had 859 applications, 859 community members had applied to participate. Out of those, 734 have been offered enrollment. And because the majority of these programs are still running, still delivering instruction, they have not finished instruction. So far, the ones that have completed instruction have had 185 people successfully complete the program, and 98 of those have transitioned to DOL registered apprenticeship programs. The majority of our programs are still running and completing their instruction. So we expect for our completers and our transitions to be a lot higher by the end of the year. In fact, given these numbers, we are on track to serve over 1,000 Illinois residents by the end of this grant period, which is December 31st, 2022. So just to make it very clear, with these numbers, it is very clear that Illinois Works is the largest pre-apprenticeship program in the state of Illinois, and it will continue to be the largest one for years to come, um, given the numbers of programs and numbers of people that are being served with these programs throughout the state of Illinois. Any other questions, Christine?
Yes, we have two in the chat. So the first is about the Illinois Works reporting system. It's asking if it was launched recently, is it based on an older legacy system?
That's a good question. So the way IWRS was designed was that it was customized from scratch for the purposes of Illinois Works. The platform that is based on is a platform that has been used by DCO for other workforce systems in the past, but the program itself was programmed from scratch for the purposes of Illinois Works. In fact, it took about a year for all the design and implementation testing programming to happen. We are going to enter a phase 2 of IWRS for improvements based on feedback we have received, systematic feedback we have received from our providers. So we're going to do that in the next year, but it is definitely a new system that was designed from scratch for our purposes.
Great. And the second question we have, are there incentives for employers to hire completers of the program?
Yeah, you certainly are getting ahead of us. That's what we will discuss in the next section. Once we finish this section, we will certainly talk about what the incentives are. As I mentioned, our system has three pieces to the puzzle. One is the creation of demand. The second piece is the creation of a talent pipeline through the pre-apprenticeship program. But the third program that we'll discuss is the bid credit program, which are really incentives for employers to hire, and not only to hire, but to retain our completers. So we will discuss that in depth in a minute. So moving on to the next slide. So the question is, our program was designed specifically to bring about equity. Are we being successful at attracting, training, transitioning the underserved populations? As you can see from this table on your screen, whereas in the construction industry right now in Illinois, women only represent 4% of all apprentices. In the Illinois Works network right now, we have almost 22% of all of our students are women, which is a significant improvement from the 4% that we have traditionally seen in the state of Illinois with apprentices. And our goal in this second phase of funding is to bring more programs that can bring in more women into the construction industry so that we can increase that and continue to close that gap that presently exists. For African Americans, there's typically 9% of all apprentices in the state of Illinois that are African American. Right now, our system has almost 70% of all participants are African American. So that will definitely bring a change to the representation of African Americans in the construction industry. Presently, our system has 16% of our enrollees are Hispanic. Right now, Hispanics represent 18% of all apprentices. So our system is a little low there. So we also need for programs to bring about more representation among Hispanics. American Indians, Native Alaskans in our system is only 0.5%. They typically are 1% of all apprentices. We are at about the same percentage of the population, but we would like to bring in other programs that can continue to beef up this number too. When it comes to veterans, our system only has 1.1% representation of veterans, and we would like to, through this NOFO, increase the representation of veterans in our system, in the Illinois Works system, by funding programs that can successfully train also veterans. So that's where we are. As you can see, given the current trends, Illinois Works is well positioned to impact equity in construction and the building trades in Illinois by decisively reaching out, recruiting, training, graduating, and transitioning key target underrepresented populations, including women, minorities, and veterans. In other words, We feel very proud of the work that has been done so far because we are reaching, we are recruiting, we are training, we are transitioning the underrepresented populations that we have been talking about. So the success in the horizon definitely looks very positive. Moving on, one of the tools that you may want to use as you think about applying for Illinois Works is the Illinois Works heat map. You can actually find the Illinois Works heat map in the same website where you find the listing of present providers. If you go down on the website, the heat map is in the bottom. Grantees have access to the Illinois Works heat map. This is one of many tools that Illinois Works is making available to its grantees to support their success. This technology provides an overview of statewide demographic data, Illinois Works project data, as well as the location and essential information for all Illinois pre-apprenticeship programs and DOL registered apprenticeship programs. So through this technology that we're presently putting the link in the chat, you can see the demographics of different counties in the state of Illinois. You can see where capital projects are taking place. You can see where our pre-apprenticeship programs are located. In fact, our pre-apprenticeship programs are the stars, the yellow stars. Wherever you see a yellow star, click on it. You'll be able to see information for our pre-apprenticeship program. If you see a blue box, that's where apprenticeship, DOL registered apprenticeship programs are located throughout the state of Illinois. You can click on the blue box and be able to get information about that apprenticeship program, their website, go visit them, get their information. You can see there the circles indicate where we have concentrations of our underrepresented populations. The map will clearly show you where the large concentrations are. The larger the circle, the larger the concentration, the smaller the circle, the smaller the concentration. The coloring will indicate where capital projects are happening. So the dark pink symbolizes higher concentrations of projects. Darker teal represents a lower concentration of capital projects that are happening throughout the state of Illinois. If you want to get the legend for the map, you can certainly click on the top left corner of the map, click on the arrows there, and you're going to be able to see the legend and what each of the symbols and colors represent in the map. Any questions or comments related to the Illinois Works heat map?
We don't have any related to the map, but we do have another question from Nora. She's asking that they have a similar program with the Department of Transportation. And that grant states that if a participant has an outstanding balance with that college, that the balance does not have to be paid before being accepted into that grant program. Is that the same with Illinois Works?
That if a participant has an outstanding balance with the college. Yeah, no, I mean, and I don't know if this is coming from, this question is being asked for my college. I just for clarification here, I have a background, worked in community colleges for almost a decade and worked in private colleges for another decade. And I know how that works. When it comes to workforce development programs, in particular, these programs that we're providing funding to the organization, in this case, it could be the college, to run these programs, we obviously would expect that if a student has a balance with the college related to academic instruction or any other program that they had joined, that would not impact their ability to enter the program. Our Illinois Works is the one that dictates through guidance who can enter a program or not. We provide in our grantee manual what the prerequisites are, and having a zero balance with the college is not a prerequisite. So certainly, I mean, we would expect that colleges would follow the guidance that we have provided related to Illinois Works and who can enter these programs. At the end of the day, we are here to reduce barriers. We do not want to create more barriers for underrepresented populations, single moms, minorities. For whatever reason, we want to reduce barriers and not increase the barriers that they face. Any other questions or comments before we move on to the last program that we want to discuss today? And then after that, we're going to discuss the NOFO, go over the NOFO in general terms. And as I mentioned, we're going to go into detail into the NOFO and the bidders conference. So moving on, the last program that we're going to cover is the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program. That's the third program of the portfolio in my bureau. At the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program, explain how the Bid Credit Program contributes to a comprehensive approach to workforce development, summarize the Bid Credit Program key components, and identify the current implementation status of the Bid Credit Program. So as we have mentioned before, the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative creates demand for jobs in the construction industry. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program creates the talent pipeline of diverse candidates to help respond to that demand. But the third component that I had previously mentioned is an incentive program, which is the third piece of the puzzle. We've created an incentive program to ensure that our graduates are hired and retained by contractors and subcontractors. So that incentive program to hire and retain is the bid credit program. Now, the bid credit program is a little different than tax credits. A lot of times incentives are provided as tax credits. The Illinois Works Bid Credit Program is completely different. So the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program incentivizes contractors to hire and retain a diverse pool of candidates. It allows contractors and subcontractors to earn bid credits by employing apprentices who have completed the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Then they use those bid credits to award future bids for public works projects contracted by the state of Illinois or an agency of the state. Let me just explain here in general terms how this works. So let's assume I'm a contractor and I hire 2 Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship graduates, and they work in my company as carpentry apprentices. While they're working with me, I can earn bid credits. Every month, I can submit my payroll records to the Office of Illinois Works, the bid credit program, and ask to get bid credits for having hired those individuals. As a company owner, I can earn bid credits at a certain rate, and we give more bid credits if the individuals are hired into higher paid trades. So let's say carpentry, electrician, plumbers, operators. All of the higher trades earn more bid credits. The lower paying trades earn less bid credits. And as a contractor, I can collect a certain dollar amount of bid credits. If I keep the 2 individuals I hire for a whole year, I paid each individual, let's say $75,000 by the time by the end of the year, I may get $50,000 for each in bid credits. What happens with those bid credits? Those bid credits, you deposit them into the bid credit bank at DCEO. You have like a bank account with us with a certain dollar amount of bid credits. Next time you bid a project, let's assume you're interested in being part of remodeling a school, a high school, or a hospital, and that's being funded by the state. You can withdraw your bid credits from DCEO and use them when you put a bid for that project that you want to do. And how does that work? So let's assume that the bid you're submitting is for $1 million, and you have $50,000 worth of bid credits that you withdraw and you attach to that bid. Technically, that means that when you submit your bid, instead of being $1 million, is $950,000 because you use $50,000 worth of bid credits that you had earned from our system. What that does is that it makes your bid a lot more competitive than the bid of a contractor that does not have bid credits. So you can win that bid just by using bid credits because it reduces the cost of your bid. So that's the way the bid credit system works. These are incentives for contractors to hire and retain that then later on they can use to win projects with the state. So in summary, the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program allows contractors and subcontractors to earn bid credits for use toward future bids for public works projects contracted by the state or an agency of the state. The bid credits can only be earned for employing apprentices who have completed the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Also, DCO determines the bid credit earning rate by rule. So we are the ones that determine how much we pay per hour work based on the trade a particular individual that graduated from our program is working in. We publish those rates, and contractors can then voluntarily participate in the program. A bank is being created to be able to keep this deposits and withdrawals of bid credits, so that contractors can constantly know what their balances are and know how to use those bid credits towards future bids. What's the current status of this particular program? This is the third and last Illinois Works program that is being implemented, and is presently in design stages and will be ready for implementation by October of 2022. The framework for the program has already been designed, and the rules are in process of being written and finalized. In addition, we are presently working on developing the technology tools to be used for this program. One of the technological tools that I mentioned earlier is the applicant tracking system, which will allow for contractors to see which Illinois Works graduates are available to work in what geographic areas of the state, so that they can then decide to hire them. And by hiring them and retaining them, they can earn bid credits. One key thing that I want to emphasize about this system is that it's not just hiring, it's retention. We want to make sure that contractors retain these individuals through the years. And what do we do in order for that retention to happen? If a contractor retains an individual 1 year, they get a bonus amount of bid credits. If it's 2 years, they get a larger bonus amount. If it's 3 years, they get a larger bonus amount. And if they retain them until they finish their apprenticeship program and become journey and reach journey worker status, they get a larger bonus for that. So it's a system not only for hiring, but also for retention. Any questions related to the bid credit system?
We don't have any questions in the chat, Norman.
Thank you.
Oh, one just popped up. How will a contractor know they are hiring someone who has completed the Illinois Works program when they receive a referral? Many of the current grantees have pre-apprenticeship programs. Can we check for a candidate?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, so the way a contractor would know if they're hiring an Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship graduate is two ways. So when we engage contractors, we're putting together an outreach plan for contractors, and on a monthly basis, we're going to be delivering webinars to contractors on the bid credit system, how it works, and how they can join. If they want to, if they're part, so they have to apply to be part of the bid credit system. When they submit a particular individual asking for bid credits for that individual, we will, through our IWRS system, we will verify that the individual they're submitting bid credits for is actually an Illinois Works graduate. So we have that triangulation process where we will verify if the bid credits that are being requested are actually Illinois Works graduates. The other way we would know is a lot of these contractors would actually be introduced to individuals through our own grantees and also through the applicant tracking system. So they would know through the applicant tracking system and through the relationship with the grantee if those individuals are Illinois Works graduates. But ultimately, we verify that when they submit requests for us to issue bid credits for those individuals, we verify that through the IWRS system. Okay, so we're going to move on to do another practice round based on all the information that was provided. If you could please go back to Mentimeter. We're going to do another round of true or false questions. I'm sorry, this is more an open-ended system here where you get to choose which program is the one that that does certain things, or you can respond with a particular answer through the system. So the Illinois practice round for sections 5, 6, and 7 is where we are. So hopefully most of you, if not all of you, can participate. So we're going to start with the first question. The first question is, which Illinois Works key program opens door of opportunity into the construction industry and the trades by creating demand? Which Illinois Works key program opens doors of opportunity into the construction industry and the trades by creating demand? So you have 7 seconds left to respond. Again, we've included the Mentimeter information on chat. The Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, we have seven responses that have indicated the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. Yes, the program, the Illinois Works program that opens the door of opportunity is definitely the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. Who do we have leading the pack now? We have Michelle as the leader right now, Ashley number 2, Derek number 3. Moving on to the next question. Which Illinois Works key program incentivizes contractors and subcontractors to hire and retain Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program graduates? Which program incentivizes contractors and subcontractors to hire and retain Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program graduates? You have 2 seconds to respond. Very good. The majority got it all correct. Yes, it is the bid credit program. The bid credit program is the one that incentivizes contractors and subcontractors to hire and retain individuals. Waiting for the system to show the results. Michelle was leading previously. Let's see where we are now. We still have Michelle leading, but now Millie is number 2. Ashley has jumped to number 3. Derek continues to be there fighting. So question number 3. Which Illinois Works key program applies to public works projects with an estimated cost of $500,000 or more? Which Illinois Works key program applies to public works projects with an estimated cost of $500,000 or more? Gia, moving on to the next question. Six seconds to respond. So we had 6 people that said the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. It is actually the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative. The Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative is the one that applies to comply with the requirements of Illinois Works if the projects are at least 500,000 or more. So let's see who's now. We have Billy leading the competition. Moving on to the next question. Which Illinois Works program creates a qualified talent pipeline to fill job opportunities with diverse candidates? Which Illinois Works key program creates a qualified talent pipeline to fill job opportunities with diverse candidates? That is correct. The majority of you got it correct. Is the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. That is correct. Is the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program the one that creates a talent pipeline? So we had Millie leading in the last round. Let's see who is. Oh, she continues to lead. Michelle, number 2. Dave is now number 3, and Derek is number 4. Montana is still staying at number 5. The Office of Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative requires real-time reporting of compliance with the 10% apprenticeship goal. Who is accountable for ensuring compliance? So the Office of Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative requires real-time reporting of compliance. Who's accountable? State agencies. The majority of you said fund recipients. Is actually state agencies, the ones that are accountable for compliance. Whoever gives the money out for those projects, whichever state agency is giving out the money, is the one that's responsible for ensuring compliance. So Millie continues to lead. Next question. The pre-apprenticeship program targets which underrepresented populations in the construction industry and the building trades? The pre-apprenticeship program targets which underrepresented populations in the construction industry and the building trades? 7, 6, 5 seconds to respond. Minorities, women and minorities. African Americans, that is correct. Minorities. Women, minorities, women, blacks, that's all correct. So thank you very much for participating. We appreciate you participating in this contest. Let's see who's leading now before we move on to the next section. We continue to have Millie lead, then Michelle, then Derek, then David. Marsha's now on number 5. Montana is number 6. Thank you very much again for participating. Any other questions, Christine, before we move on to our last section of the webinar today, where we're going to be talking about specifically about the NOFO?
We have no questions in the chat right now.
Great. So moving on to the last section of this webinar, DCO Notice of Funding Opportunity. By the end of this section, you'll be able to access the Notice of Funding Opportunity, access the GATA pre-qualification training, describe the information available from the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2022 website, and download the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO. As all of you probably know, and that's probably the reason why you're here today, the DCO Notice of Funding Opportunity, also known as the NOFO, for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program was released on August 18, 2022. You can access the Notice of Funding by using the link that is being shared in the chat. We're going to be sharing for you in the chat the link to access the release of the NOFO. If you have not had a chance to read the release, we will be also providing it for you on your screen for if you want to download it and save it on your desktop. Please go ahead and do that. Gia, unfortunately, oh, here it is. Thank you. But please go ahead and download the notice if you download it and save it on your desktop. The goal of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, as we have discussed, is to provide grants to community-based organizations, including accredited public colleges or coalitions throughout the state of Illinois that will recruit, pre-screen, and provide pre-apprenticeship skills training. Successful grantees will also be expected to provide pathways and manage the transition from the pre-apprenticeship program to full apprenticeship programs in construction and the building trades. Presently, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program funds programs throughout the state of Illinois. And I want to emphasize the focus of this NOFO. This NOFO is focused on awarding grants in geographic areas where the Office of Illinois Works does not presently have pre-apprenticeship programs, and to increase the representation of underrepresented groups that presently are not served or are underserved by existing programs. So I want to clarify what the focus of this NOFO is. First, we need to secure programs in areas, in geographic areas of the state where we presently do not have Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship programs. That's the first goal. So if you are located, your organization is located in areas where we do not presently have representation, go to our heat map, you can see where our programs are located. You certainly can apply for this. This is one of the primary goals that we have. The second goal that we have is we're looking for programs regardless of where they're located. Doesn't matter what geographic area they're located. Programs that can help us bring about representation of groups that we're presently not serving at the appropriate levels. So any programs that are targeting women, any programs that are targeting Hispanics, any programs that are targeting Asian Americans, any programs that are targeting veterans, wherever you're located, regardless of geographic area, go ahead and apply. You're welcome to apply. What happens to any other programs that are interested in serving any underrepresented population, any geography, that we already have representation? You are welcome to apply. Even though those are not the goals of the NOFO, we will review those applications, and if they are good programs and we have already covered the necessities that we have, we may end up funding those programs. But I want to make sure that it's very clear that our focus right now is on very particular geographic areas and also very particular groups, we can and we will review applications for other groups and other geographies. But the main focus right now is on those two goals that I mentioned. Any questions that we may have in the chat?
Yeah, so just seeking clarification, I think you might have just answered it, but the question was, would that exclude Chicago?
Certainly not. Chicago or Chicago metropolitan area is not excluded, particularly for organizations that are serving populations where we need to do a better job, veterans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, but also populations servicing areas where we have large concentrations of underrepresented populations, but we do not have enough providers, right? There are some areas like the South suburbs. We only have one program in Aurora. We only have one program in Waukegan. We do not have any programs in Cicero, Berwyn, Melrose Park, South Suburbs. We only have one program. So any organization serving those communities, go ahead and apply. And again, any organization can apply as long as they're focused on serving our underrepresented populations. They will be evaluated. It's just that the priorities of the NOFO are the groups that I mentioned right now. Any other questions?
Yes, so there's a clarification about the heat map. What on the heat map designates where current programs are?
Current programs are designated with yellow stars. If you go to the heat map, any yellow star is one of the pre-apprenticeship programs.
And then the final question is, are areas with high construction and high employee need also considered or a higher priority?
You know, and again, the areas that we described in the NOFO, there's about 6 or 7 areas that we described in the NOFO. Those are high priority areas because they have large concentrations of underrepresented populations, large concentrations of capital projects, large concentrations of DOL registered apprenticeship programs, and we do not have providers in those areas. So I really encourage you to thoroughly read the NOFO and at the same time use the heat map so that you can clearly identify where those areas are located. So moving on, we are in the present network. We are testing 5 different program models. And I'm mentioning this because there's a variety of different stakeholders that have joined us today, and it's very important for you to know. We are testing presently a model in school districts. We are also testing a model in small and medium nonprofit organizations. We're also testing a model in large and nonprofit organizations. We're also testing a model in community colleges, and we're also testing a model in business associations. These 5 models are presently being tested within the 23 programs that we presently have operational. We will continue to, when I say that we're testing, we're doing evaluation, and we'll do formal evaluation to see which models are the most successful or which models have what needs or what particular requirements in order for them to operate. But we will continue to fund programs that operate within one of these 5 models. And we are even open to testing other models if we get proposals from organizations that are not represented in these 5 models. Okay, so again, this NOFO is focused on giving grants in geographic areas where the Office of Illinois Works does not presently have pre-apprenticeship programs, with the goal of increasing the representation of underrepresented groups that presently are not served or are underserved by our existing programs. The economic development regions in terms of geography that we have identified is the Central region, which is Region 1, East Central region, which is Region 2, North Central region, which is Region 3, Northwest region, which is Region 6, Southeast region, which is Region 7, and the Southwest region, which is Region 9. If you want a map of the regions, we included the link in the NOFO, and so that you're able to find the map for that. We have also included the link right now in the chat so that you could grab that link and go take a look at the economic development regions in the state. So Illinois Works plans to fund anywhere between 15 to 20 new grantees to join our renewal grantees to create a network of 30 to 35 providers with a capacity to serve 1,500 Illinois residents. As you can see, we're increasing, we're doubling the capacity of our network, and we hope in the next funding opportunity to bring our capacity to about 2,000 Illinois residents. Again, the largest pre-apprenticeship system in the state of Illinois. New grantees can be either experienced, and this is a very, very important point. New grantees can be either experienced or inexperienced providers, large or small, as long as your organization has the ability to reach the underrepresented populations and can effectively serve them. We are not looking for just grantees that have done this type of work for 10, 15 years. Those grantees are obviously welcome to apply, but we're also looking for smaller organizations that do not have as much experience, but that have the ability to reach these populations and structure a program. We have an extensive coaching model that we use for Illinois work grantees. So if you are an organization that is given a grant and you do not have all the capacity and need, coaching and learning and development, we have a coaching model. You will be put on a track of coaching where our professional coaches will help you develop your capabilities. Applicant criteria, again, this is very important. The NOFA will consider organizations that have experience and trajectory delivering construction pre-apprenticeship and other construction training programs. Applicants that do not have or have not operated pre-apprenticeship programs but have experience serving the underrepresented populations are encouraged to apply. And this is very key, in partnership with other relevant organizations that have experience in effective design and delivery of the required services. So we encourage you to apply, to make sure that you bring along partners that can really support your efforts on the ground. It's very, very difficult to execute the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program without having key partnerships. You need to develop partnerships with employers. You need to develop partnerships with DOR registered apprenticeship programs. If you're not an organization that provides instruction, develop partnerships with organizations that do provide training and instruction. If you are an organization that does not provide wraparound services, then partner with organizations that do that. Partnerships are key to the success of this program. One key point that I want to mention is if you are here and you are a representative from an existing Illinois work grantee, you can certainly submit an application and respond to this NOFO if you are proposing to serve a different geographic area or different economic development region beyond the one that you're currently contracted to serve. You cannot use this NOFO to renew your grant. There's a completely different process that will have to be followed in order to renew your grant. This NOFO you can use if you're an existing Illinois Works grantee only if you're going to be serving a different geographic area or different economic development region. You'll have to compete with everybody else to be able to win an award. And it's also important if you are from an existing grantee and you do not receive an invitation for renewal, you cannot use this NOFO to renew your grant. Again, if you are from an existing grantee and you do not receive an invitation for renewal, you cannot get a grant through this NOFO to renew your grant. Any questions or comments before I move on to the GATA pre-qualification?
There are none in the chat.
Right. So moving on to GATA pre-qualification, it's very, very important that any organization that is interested in applying is aware that the first step in the process to apply for any grant with the state of Illinois, including our grants, is that you have to be GATA pre-qualified. So GATA stands for Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, which is a state law. And you cannot apply for a state grant unless you're GATA pre-qualified. Very, very important that if you are not GATA pre-qualified, that you go through the process to get GATA pre-qualified. And when you apply, that your GATA pre-qualification is in good standing. You can access the Grant Accountability and Transparency Act website. We will be providing right now the link of that website in the chat. so that you can go and read about the GATA pre-qualification, how it works. If you're not GATA pre-qualified, or if you are GATA pre-qualified, make sure that your GATA pre-qualification is in good standing. We encourage you to attend our GATA pre-qualification training session. We have session offerings that are available for any Illinois Works NOFO applicants. If you go to our landing page, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO 2022 website, in the bottom of the website, you're going to find all of the information sessions. You will notice that on 9/1 at 10 a.m., we're going to have a GATA training, GATA pre-qualification training. If you want to learn more about GATA pre-qualification, if you're not GATA pre-qualified, or if you're not in good standing with GATA, please join this GATA training. Our accountability office will go over all the details about GATA, how to become pre-qualified, how to make sure that you stay in good standing. If you're unable to attend the live session, you can access the recording of the training from this same website. You will go to the same location, the information session location, and in 3 to 5 business days, we're going to post the recording of the webinar after it happens. So what will happen is that the link that is presently there for registration will become a link for you to be able to access the slide deck and also the recording, so that if you were not able to attend, you can certainly still get the information by going to the website. Okay, moving on now to the actual NOFO website. Very important that when you go to the NOFO website, you will notice there is a big warning in yellow on the top of the website. Please make sure that you read the warning and you follow the instructions on how to deal with some of the issues if you face some issues, particularly if you're using some of the newer versions of Edge. If you're using Chrome or Firefox, Safari, etc., you probably will not face any problems. But if you are using a newer version of Microsoft Edge, you will need to follow those instructions to be able to download the documents. Everything that you need to successfully complete the NOFO and respond to the NOFO is available on this website. Everything is there. We will review now what's on the website so that you could definitely understand what's there and the resources that we have provided on the website. Again, we're providing to you the link of that website in the chat, so make sure you have the information. The website offers a wealth of information and support regarding funding for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. It includes a section on program background. It has a section on program design. It also has frequently asked questions. So as we get questions from you, asking very particular questions about the NOFO, we will officially respond to those questions, and those responses will be posted in the FAQ section of the website so that you can go see what questions other asked and what responses we provided. You'll have a section there for NOFO materials. The NOFO materials is everything that you need, all the documents required for you to respond to this NOFO. There's also funding information. There is the submission details. There is an award timeline. There's also resources. We'll circle back about the resources in a minute. And obviously, there's also a section for the information sessions. All of that information, again, all the information that you need in order to successfully access all the documents to respond to this NOFO, you will find on this webpage. On the top of the landing page, you will find the top bar. You'll find in English, Spanish translation if you do need that. You'll also be able to see some of the partners that we work with in order to make these programs work. In addition, the website provides the following information. There's a variety of resources, NOFO references, resources for competitive applications, resources on national best practices for pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs, and resources on national best practices for equity and apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. So all of those are resources. You can read through them if you want more information. All of that information is there. Additional webinar sessions related to this NOFO are already scheduled, as I have mentioned before. The next session is happening next Tuesday, the 30th, and that is the Bidders Conference. We will go into very specific details there about the NOFO, parts of the NOFO, answer any questions that you may have related to the NOFO. Keep in mind that if you're not able again to join all of these sessions, we will provide all the recordings 3 to 5 business days after the webinar is delivered. So as you can see, there are 4 different webinars in this sequence that you can attend. The last one happening September the 8th, and it has to do with developing partnerships and the importance of partnerships related to Illinois Works. If you want to download the NOFO, you go to the NOFO materials on the right side of the screen and select the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship NOFO. All of those documents there on the list are the documents that you're going to need in order to respond to this NOFO. So NOFO materials, all of those, uniform application, budget templates, conflict of interest, disclosures, mandatory disclosures, and all the attachments. And all of that you will need in order to respond to this NOFO. Okay, we're going to do one final round of questions. In this case, it'll be true or false. And then we're going to do an evaluation, a quick evaluation of the webinar, and then we'll be closing our webinar today. Thank you for joining us. So again, please go to Mentimeter, and if you could please participate, engage, we would certainly appreciate it. There are only a few questions in this section that we would love for you to participate in so we can see who the winner is today. And the first question is, this first step in this process is your Grant Accountability and Transparency Act GATA prequalification, also known as GATA prequalification. Is that true or false? In order to apply for a grant with the state of Illinois, the first step is Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, or GATA prequalification. Is that true or false? Right, 13 of you said true. That is correct. That is the very first step. Unfortunately, if you're not GATA pre-qualified, or if your GATA pre-qualification is not in good standing, we're not allowed to review your application, even if you successfully submit an application. We still have Millie leading the pack, and Michelle, Derek, Dave, hang in there. We have a few more questions. Second question, Illinois Works has a pre-apprenticeship program, NOFO 2022 website, which offers a wealth of information and support. Is that true or false? 6 seconds to respond. Illinois Works has a pre-apprenticeship program, NOFO 2022 website, which offers a wealth of information and support. Is that true or false? That is true. All of you got it correct. So that is definitely true. We have a website with all the information and support needed in order to successfully apply. Let's see who's leading now. Millie continues to lead. Michelle continues to stay there, number 2. Third question, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO 2022 website provides an assessment that tells you the probability of getting funded. True or false? The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program NOFO 2022 website provides an assessment that tells you the probability of getting funded. True or false? 3 seconds to respond. That is false, correct. We do not have an assessment on the website that tells you the probability of you getting funded. Once you submit your application, we will go through an evaluation process that is done by independent evaluators. Your application will be scored based on the criteria that we have, and that's how we determine if you get funded. Number 4, you can register for upcoming training sessions under information sessions. Oh, I'm sorry. You can register for upcoming training sessions under what section of the website? So there are 4 seconds. I think I just gave everybody a freebie here. Yeah, I don't know if the system got stuck, but it's still stuck oh, good. Yes, 9 responses, information sessions. Yes, you can definitely register there for upcoming training sessions. So that was the freebie of the day. Next question. Oh, let me see who's leading the pack. Let's go back to the leaderboard here. Millie is certainly not letting that one go, huh? It's amazing. Well, good job, Millie. Thanks for participating. Um, Next question. If I have any questions about the NOFO or Illinois Works, I can send communication to ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. Is that true or false? If I have any questions about the NOFO or Illinois Works, I can send a communication to ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. True or false? 1 second to respond. That is certainly correct. That is the email address where you can reach us if you have any other questions. Uh, Thank you very much for answering. Let's see if Millie kept it up. Certainly. Well, Michelle's coming very close, but Millie is certainly keeping it up there. And Derek is very, very close too. Thanks again for participating. Last question. If I need information relevant to the NOFO or copy of the NOFO, I can find it on the following DCO website, www.illinois.gov/DCEO. Is that true or false? If I need information relevant to the NOFO or a copy of the NOFO, I can find it on the following DCO website. Is that true or false? That is actually false. You can find the NOFO on the Illinois Works 2022 landing page that we had provided to you earlier. So that is a false statement. Let's see where we are, where we ended the competition here in the leaderboard. Well, thank you very much for participating. Millie with 15,995 points has won the competition. We appreciate all of you participating and staying with the engagement. Thank you very much. We will certainly we congratulate Millie. Thank you for engaging and being there throughout all this time. If you don't mind, please, we just want to take a few minutes to get your feedback. I want to pass it on now to Dr. Gia Suggs, who will conduct the evaluation today.
So great. If you could, you are, especially if you are already in Mentimeter, so just stay in Mentimeter. And if you are not, Christine is going to actually drop the code to get into Mentimeter so that you can participate in the survey. This is only just a couple of questions, but it will allow us to hear from you so that we can make sure we maintain the things that we are currently doing well and make adjustments in areas where some improvements might be helpful. So we're going to go back to Mentimeter. And again, if you have logged out or if you don't have it available, if you could please log back in so you can take the evaluation to give us feedback, that would be great. All right, so the first question, it says, please share your views on this training by rating the following statements from 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. All right, a few more seconds for individuals to participate. Okay, great. We'll go to the next one. The next question is, this course was relevant to what I wanted to learn about the subject matter. Okay, and if you are not logged into Mentimeter, please feel free to still log in. Mentimeter will log you in right where we are with the survey. We'll go to the next one. I plan to apply what I learned. Okay, thank you for the responses. We're almost done here. What improvements might you recommend? Other thoughts, feedback? All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Any other thoughts? Great, thank you. Okay, awesome. All right. What did you find effective? So if we make changes, what do you recommend we make sure to keep? All right, thank you. Awesome, thank you for that. We can do that, thank you. Okay, absolutely, thank you. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, there's just one last question. Okay, is there anything else about this course you think we should know that perhaps we've not asked? There's absolutely help available if you have questions. Christine, if you don't mind putting the email address into the chat again in order to contact Illinois Works. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Norman, do you want to answer? There's a question here. If you are okay to answer it, it says you mentioned underrepresented, but is there a requirement to be in a DIA like other similar programs focused on underrepresented populations? Norman, are you okay to answer that question?
Um, Well, I would say that it's more important if you go by the guidelines that we have included in the NOFO. If you could please go and review those guidelines, and after you review those, if you have any questions, please re-engage in our bidders conference. It would be, it's complicated to just give a small response related to these matters. So if you go, please to those to the guidelines that we have, particularly focus on the requirements. Look at the requirements section of the NOFO and read what the guidelines are there, and then we can certainly engage if you have any questions after that.
Okay, that was our last question. Thank you all so much for your time, engagement, and participation. And thank you for completing this survey at the end.
Thank you much. We want to thank you again. We want to give you back your 25 minutes. We had scheduled this webinar to be a whole 3 hours. We were able to do it in less than that. It was a lot of engagement and a lot of excellent questions. So we hope that we have provided all the information that you need. And we haven't, please send us an email and we'll be more than happy to respond as soon as possible. Okay. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for joining us today. Bye-bye.